everybody, and welcome back to Horse Center. You can see the Phil Collins version of Shawn. He's going to break into the air of the night before the night is over, and we're joined by Panagiotis Synnefias, kind of trainer. He's kind of come and gone, so hopefully he rejoins us. I worked super hard to get that. Did I get it right, Peter?
Yeah, it was good. It was a little choppy, but work on it, it gets there.
Yeah, indeed. So fantastic. Thanks for joining us. Shawn and Peter, they met. Peter the Greek, we can call him too. But Shawn met at the Penn Mile. Shawn, with his hair on fire, came charging up. Hey! You can just see it, right? Shawn, you, come here. And then introduced himself to Peter. Why don't you guys talk a little bit about when you met? Shawn, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, that's not exactly how it happened.
I didn't describe it aggressively enough.
Yeah, no, you're way too aggressive. That was the day I got to meet Tyler too. So I actually asked about Peter because he was showing us a lot of support on Instagram, and anybody that shows us support, we want to show them support. And I wanted to get to know him, so I said, "Do you think he'd be interested?" And he said, "Absolutely." And then I texted him, and then we later met that night. And you also were in the winner's circle that night too, so it was a good night for you.
So yeah, he met you, you talked to him, and he still agreed to come on. Are you all right, Peter?
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. We had a good conversation. Like I said, it was a good night of racing. Everything went smooth that day. I know Tyler had a big night that day. I was happy for him. We got a win at the end of the night. My buddies were out. All around just an awesome day. Good day to be at the track.
Absolutely. And then you had a runner today too, and you almost got the win.
Yeah, he hung a little bit. Like I said, he run good for us. Come back, that horse was obviously dropping down in class, so it was definitely one to beat. Blinkers off. So, we did our race. We tried our best, and yeah.
Now let's start. Let's start from the beginning.
Better outcome, but
yeah, let's start from the beginning and get to where you are now. You're third generation. You talked a little bit Penn Mile Day about your grandfather.
Yeah.
He won a couple of the editions of basically the Kentucky Derby over in Greece. Is that correct?
Yeah, he was a pretty big name over in Greece. Won some pretty big races. Did some great things over there. His success actually did continue in America. He did pretty good over here as well. And that's basically how my father got started, was with him and my mom, obviously, her dad, always being at the barn and, basically learning all the roots from way back when,
And is this something you knew right away you were going to definitely be a trainer?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the parents, obviously, they like it. But at the same time, it's a 50-50 type work. You got to really be able to get aggressive and get into it. So I'm glad that I was able to pick up the tips and have the right people in my life to help me out. My parents, obviously, being a big part of that, always giving me the opportunities to learn new things and go to different places. I've been really lucky, actually, with some of the horses I got to work with. Our one big owner, actually, Peter Kazimias, and Cas Hill Farm, with all the New York breds, doing an excellent job out there. We just had a nice win at Jersey, Monmouth Park, made a special weight over there, New Jersey bred. So, things are looking good. The horses are looking good. Basically, all we can hope for is to keep on with the success that we're having. And I think we'll grow, and, who knows, the sky's the limit, basically. Try to do our best and be honest with all the people we get to work with and the horses that we have.
How many horses do you currently have that you're currently training?
Me currently, I have 5. And obviously I still, I assist for my dad still and my mom. So we're always, big shed row, a lot of horses to work with and slowly branching off. But at the same time, you gotta do what you gotta do and, stay true to what you believe in. So we work as a team. We're all together. You know what I mean? Like I said, yeah, we have our, separate horses, but for the most part, it's, it's a big team effort. We have a good team behind us. Really good shed row right now. The riders, the hot walkers, grooms, everything. I mean, just all adds up, every little bit counts. So really thankful for being able to find the team that we do have.
What's the number of horses you're looking to get to?
I mean, as many as, I get is, not really a set number. Basically, whatever comes into you, whatever fits your stock. And if you think it's going to be good running for you and you can train it, obviously you take it up, take the challenge. So never turn anything away, and always give 100%. Try to do your best with everything. So not really a set number, basically just whatever comes your way. Go with it and see where you get to.
And one of the few things you told me Penn Mile Day that I didn't hear a lot of, and you can explain more, is you love Penn National.
Yeah, I like Penn National. I mean, it's a nice place. I love the country part about it. A couple downfalls to the place, but like I said, it's good. I mean, you can train your horses. We can ship out. I mean, we have success everywhere. It's a good base to get your horses ready, and keeps them nice and calm. It's not too crazy of a backside.
What are your thoughts about maybe heading off to Kentucky? It's not all that far away, or one of those states that has a little bit heavier horse racing presence in terms of, maybe heading down there and get yourself a nice couple of claimers, $20,000-$30,000 claimers, and come up and dominate Penn National with them. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's you do see that a lot. A couple years back, I mean, we've done it before. Always had great success. It's about basically finding the right horse and, making sure you got the conditions to bring them over to Penn, and your horse should be live. I mean, stock isn't too crazy right here at Penn right now. So anything that you would bring from out of town, you'd probably be pretty competitive. And I mean, that's a great, would love to go to Kentucky. Would love to do all those things. Obviously, we're going to take it, step by step, make sure taking all the right steps. A lot of people take 2 steps front and then, they get knocked down 4 or 5 steps, Step by step, maybe sometimes easier to take a step down if you would have to for any case, for any reason.
So you mentioned that you work with your mom and your dad.
Yes. Yep.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's good and it's bad. I mean, like I said,
let's start with the good and then we'll go to or do you want to start with the bad and go to the good, or should we skip the bad because mom and dad are watching?
I mean, obviously, we just sometimes, we butt heads, but it's always, the love's there first. We love the horses, and we've been working together for a long time. I mean, they've had me since my parents.
Since you came around, man, they've had you. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
It all started Suffolk's Down and Rockingham. I took my first steps at Rockingham. I mean, horsing just, it's in my blood. It's what I do. It's what we live and breathe for.
So when something goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
And so it's the 3 of you, your mom, and your dad. Somebody is usually the one that says, "This is it." Is that mom?
Mom usually puts the hammer down. Dad follows up, and then there's me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say: stuff flows downhill, right? We won't go with what the stuff is, but for sure. I saw a tattoo on your hand. Tell us about that.
Oh, just a flower. I mean, I'm a big tattoo guy. I've been pretty quiet with getting any lately, but it's, been too busy with the horses and stuff. Trying to do some main priorities first and get my stable built is basically the main objective right now. Always looking at the, DRF and trying to stay on top of everything, make sure you don't miss nothing. And basically trying to find the next winner,
So what kind of horse do you feel like best suits your training style? I feel like for me, when it comes to like handicapping and so forth and what we do here, I try to find horses that kind of fit my personality, right? Or bettings that fit my personality. Which horses do you think fit your personality the best?
Me personally, I'm big on speed horses. I love speed horses. I mean, I've obviously my father is a big speed trainer, and we always seem to do really good success with that. So, I mean, I guess it goes with the way that you're taught,
Mm-hmm.
So that would have to be my bet. Is a speed horse is definitely my key, I think.
So when people are looking in the DRFs or the Equibase Brisnet past performances, and they see your name listed as a trainer,
yes,
and they want to see that you're trying to get a horse out of the gate a little bit faster. Are we going to look for blinkers? Are we going to look for fast works? What's your, without giving away the secret sauce, so to speak, what should we be looking for?
I mean, I wouldn't think quite in the work and the blinkers and stuff. I mean, it's just basically every horse that has its own training. We try to obviously keep it a little lighter and then maybe work a little more. So that to me seems like to be the key. Obviously, not every horse is the same, so you got to go by it day by day and horse by horse. I mean, there's different examples I could play out. I mean, you have an older horse, is running good. He's always in the money, stuff like that. you just basically keep him in a nice jogging program, a little gallops. If the race comes out a little too far, maybe give him a little half-mile work, open up the lungs a little bit. But for the most part, the horse is going to tell you, obviously, right off the bat. Yeah, you can make your changes, but most of the time you'll see what your horse is responding to and what is keeping him sharp and keeping him ready to go for the race.
Now, one of the things you said you liked about living or working at Penn Nationals, you like the country. So
Yeah.
I'm taking from that when you're not at the track, there's some outdoor stuff that you like to do as well. So what is it about the country that you like?
I mean, I hear you can go fishing, you can go hiking. I have horses at a farm too. I enjoy going out there and hanging out. I got a baby, actually, a little foal, 4 months old. Just anything outdoors. I mean, you can catch me doing it. Yeah, I'm a very outdoorsy kind of guy. Obviously, I get to work outside in a barn all day, so it's sometimes you do get enough of it. You like to hang out inside or go watch a movie or something,
Absolutely, 100% for sure.
Yeah.
Shawn, tell us a little bit more about your evening.
Is there ever, kind of what you were speaking, is there ever that day you wake up and you're like, man, I do not feel like doing this today?
I mean, it's crazy actually, because it's, you have a drive for it. Yeah, some mornings might be a little tougher than others, but you got to think, I mean, the feeling of winning a race is, you can't match it to anything, I think. So, I mean, every day you're going out there and putting in the work for your horses and to try to basically, the big picture, getting in the winner's circle. So it is, some days, obviously, you get tired. It's long hours and, sometimes everything doesn't play out in your way exactly. But if you don't wake up and do it all over again, then it's not going to come to you. It's not a sport where, you might get lucky. You might do this. If you don't put the work in, you're not going to get anything out of it. So.
Talking about victory lane, talk about that first win, and your dad was there and everything. And
yeah, that was nice. Horse that was coming off of a pretty bad form, got it done first off with me, so I was really happy and impressed the owner as well. You see your horse isn't really doing too good, move it to a new barn, and it picks up form. It actually does good. It makes you happy, makes you get a little bit of hope for the horse. So, and we actually got another win with him too, so turned out good for that one.
And then you also have a relationship with the that we had on with the video games as well.
Yeah, that's actually the owner for him, Bob. Yeah, in the money racing. Yeah, he gave me actually my first shot. So I really, big shout out to him. I mean, he really helped me out. And we had 2 horses, did good with the one, the other one not so good. Just kind of, a horse that was falling off form. So, I don't think I was in fault or him. Tried to do the best we could. She got 2 good races out, so not too bad. Then we actually got to claim another one, Color Guard. He's in next Wednesday. He ran, a couple seconds and thirds with him, picking up checks, running good. So.
Is that your best horse that you got in the barn?
Right now?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I mean, I have a 2-year-old that seems pretty promising. I mean, as of right now on stats, yeah, he's probably one of my better ones. He's always in the money. Just claimed another one last week. I like him a lot, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, but yeah, the 2-year-old's the one that's pretty promising. I mean, I really like him, and he's been training really well, so see how that goes. Obviously, a 2-year-old's always going to be, big in the picture when you see him training good and just feeling all around good. So,
what's the 2-year-old's name?
His name's Money Making Kaz.
Money Making Kaz. And when is Money Making Kaz going to make his debut? Have you figured out yet?
We're still working on it. Like I said, never want to rush anything. So, we'll go work by work. He's been going good at the gate and stuff, training good. So hopefully, coming up here in a month or 2 months, try to get him in a race, see how that goes. Obviously, we have to get down the road a little bit more to make any bigger decisions. But as of right now, whatever we see, we like. So.
And how about the claimer? What's its name?
Color Guard.
Color Guard. Okay. Yeah, you mentioned that horse there, Shawn.
Yeah, that horse has been he's been running good for us. A little unlucky, we always fall on a sealed and wet track. So hopefully we can get a nice, dry, fast track. I think he'll run a little bit of a better race there.
You had mentioned when you were talking to Shawn that when you won your first race, your pops was there. But when you first came on, you were talking about the Penn National night. Now, you're a young guy.
Yeah.
So you got young friends, and you mentioned that your friends were with you, and you had that win. What's that like, man? And it's got to be pretty I was thinking of like the movie, the old TV show Encore, but like a horse racing version of Encore. You got all these young kids together winning horse races. That's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's different. You don't. I mean, I'm pretty young for being in the game right now, and I mean, it's cool. Like all my buddies, we grew up together, and I mean, they've always come to the track with me when we were younger. Obviously, my parents working at the track. If we would want to hang out and they have work or something, we'd go hang out in the backside, playing in the walking machines and the shed row. I mean, just, always being around horses, and they always loved it. And my one buddy, I've probably brought him 5 or 6 times, and the 5 or 6 times he comes, the horse wins every time. So he's my good luck charm, actually.
So you should pay him.
Yeah, whenever he comes, we get a picture taken. So I invite him as much as he wants to come out. He's always welcome.
I wouldn't force him to go. I wouldn't give him a choice. I mean, you're coming to the track. Yeah. That's that.
Yeah, I know.
Our friend Terry wants to know, do you have any brothers or sisters that are also involved in horse racing?
I do. My brother actually works at the same barn with us, obviously. He's a groom. He eventually wants to be a trainer as well. He gets along with the horses great. Loves all his horses. I mean, he's always, awesome. My sister's not so much involved. My sister does work actually in the racing office. So I guess you could say she's kind of involved.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I have a little sister as well, but she hasn't, still in school, elementary school. So she's, not really sure what she wants to do. She likes the horses. I mean, they all come around. It's always fun and always exciting for all of us. It's a big thrill.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's got to be fun to be a family business like that, and yet one where it's
Definitely.
filled with adrenaline all of the time. That's got to be an awesome thing.
It is. It's awesome. I love it. Every bit of it. So.
Do you have any, we always talk about getting young people in the sport. Do you have any more ideas or what they should be doing to get more people like you that haven't been brought up in horse racing to get them to the track?
I mean, it really falls down to like, you like horses and stuff. The thing is, thoroughbreds are a little different. You gotta really be able to work with them, and you gotta have the patience, and it falls into a lot of things. I feel like me, I came into it so young that it was almost like a second nature just being around horses. So not saying it's impossible. I mean, if you want to do it, obviously you can do anything you put your mind to, but it is something that you have to work for. And it's something that you have to basically, it's big stepping stools. I mean, you got to start from the bottom up. You got to get yourself used to horses, and, just from walking them to grooming to, seeing how trainers work in their barns and so on and so on. It all builds onto what you see. I mean, me personally, when I started, like, walking from my parents and just being around the barn all the time, seeing the horses. I mean, we were like 7, 8, the horse broodmares out in the fields. We would just go jump on them and just act like they're racehorse. I mean, we were always just huge into the racing, me and my brother and my sisters and stuff. When we lived out on the farm, we were younger in Grantville. So it like I said, anybody can do it. Put your mind to it. You know what I mean? Work around some horses and see how it goes. Like, obviously the horse will tell you, you just gotta be comfortable. You gotta be aware, obviously, always make sure you know what you're doing, and, be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if there's an owner out there that's looking for a trainer, why should they call you, and how would they get in contact with you to make you their trainer?
Well, the why I believe is because, I mean, obviously I'm young, my statistics matter. So I want to try to keep as good record as possible. Always go out there for the win. I'll be always be brutally honest, whether they want to hear it or not. That's just how it has to be, and I feel like I'm pretty good at scouting out some nice horses and always get 100%. I mean, all my horses run, and if you guys ever come back to the barn or see how they look, I mean, you clear as day, you want to bring your horse to me. Always fed right and training good. We'll always be 100% honest with you. And, family operation, we're all there. It's always, you're getting 100%. So.
So we're a couple of days into HISA. So
yeah.
Any thoughts about that so far?
I mean, they cracked down on some rules, but it's, that's for the guys that really, that's not really in my lane. I mean, I'm a very, I'm hands-on kind of guy. I work with my horses. It's the same for me now than what it was last month,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I imagine for a lot of folks it's like that. Now,
yeah,
you mentioned,
like I said, it's not. mixed opinions. Everyone has their opinions, good, bad. It's all what it has to be. I mean, we can't do anything about it. Obviously, they try to do something about it. Yeah, a couple of the rules are kind of over the top, but what are we gonna do? I mean, this is what we do for a living. If we don't do this, what are we gonna do? So.
Hey, you mentioned that you're good at scouting out horses. Do you use that scouting out to someone standing over there? Is a cop standing next to you going, "What are you up to?"
Well, that happens a lot, actually. You go up there, everybody knows everybody. So, oh, you shopping, you shop. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Do you
You
use
gotta,
that for? Do
you
you
gotta,
use that to pick some winners at the tickets?
uh, I mean, I'm not a big bettor myself, but, I mean, if I do, I guess I do all right. You know what I mean? Reading the forum. Personally, if I'm there for business, I'm there for business. So I'll stay away from, the betting and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So if you see a horse on the backside that's just working amazingly well, that hasn't gone out to the track yet, you don't sneak up to the window to put a few bucks on it?
I mean, if I see something or you hear something, I mean, I guess yeah, but it's like I said, it's, when you're out there, look, like for me, especially, like my mind right now is on getting horses and, making sure the horses I do have are in, tip top condition and just ready to roll. You have little time for shenanigans and stuff like that. People's opinions, they come and go. Like I said, in one ear, out the other. You just got to do your thing, and you just got to grind it out. It's no one's gonna hand you over a race here. It's
Absolutely,
you gotta go get it yourself.
for
You gotta work
sure.
for it. You gotta make sure your horse is in tip top condition. You got a lot of top conditioners here. Trainers that pretty competitive. So just got to make sure the spot's right and your horse is where it's supposed to be, and it'll do the rest, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Sean, anything else? It looks like there's somebody off to Pete's side that's telling him, "Hustle up, let's go."
Well,
Yeah.
I still want to learn more on, now you're saying about horses in peak condition and stuff. I still have a hard time. What are you looking for as a bettor? I mean, I still do some things, but I swear if I want that horse to look good in my mind, I can make that horse look
Yeah.
good or bad.
Well, big thing, like for me, uh, I obviously look for trainers. I know the trainers back here, all of them. So I look who has him, who he's been claimed out of. Obviously, I watch all the races, looking at the replays. If you guys use Twin Spires, uh, DRF, you can read the buyer numbers. I mean, you can personally, other than the odds and stuff, you should be able to tell. But sometimes it is hard. Some of them have some higher odds that get to the winner circle, and even those sometimes, like clear as day, if a horse is running good or coming off of like a 5/8 grass race and they put it in going long, clearly it's going to be a little bit more fit, a little bit sharper on the bit. So there's a couple different things. Workouts. I mean, me personally, I like to see a nice workout on a horse 10 to 7 days out. If it's sharp during a workout, they probably eased it into the race then, and it'll be pretty sharp and probably pretty live.
One
Horse that's
last
working
question,
good is
at least from me. So, as a trainer, when you're looking at a horse aesthetically, what
yes.
do you want to see? I mean, what should we be looking at? The coat? Should we be looking at the hindquarters, the cut? I mean,
Everything. If you're looking at a horse, you look at it from head to toe. I mean, you see the attitude that it comes into the paddock with. You can tell a nice shiny dappled coat between a dull looking horse. The muscle definition. I mean, a horse is going to tell you a million things. Just by looking at a horse, the way he walks, the way he goes into the race. How did he run last time? Is he getting some class? You know what I mean? It all plays a big part. But at the same time, if your horse doesn't look good, if he looks tired, if he looks exhausted out there, probably stay away from that horse. I like a calm horse in the paddock, but you can tell a calm, good horse between just a, poor looking, maybe beat out horse,
For sure. Sometimes it's a little hard to pick up on TV. So, like, if you're looking at it from
Yeah.
TV, what are some of the clues that you might see of a horse that's kind of tired?
Well, I mean, if it's like, if it's out there, with its head down, kind of just dragging along, missing a step or two here and there, there's little things that you can check out. I mean, when they hit the track, how do they look in the post parade? Are they, letting them loose to warm them up or stuff? I like that a lot. I look for that, a horse that needs warmed up good, sometimes might be a little bit more aggressive coming out of the gate there.
Shawn, anything else?
Well, no, I'm definitely going to take. I'm not going to pronounce your first name right, so I'm just going to go with Peter. But I'm definitely going to take you up on your offer, and one of these days, I'm going to go to Penn National, and we'll do something.
Yeah, come out. Yeah, it'd be fun.
Well,
Definitely.
you got to put Shawn on a horse because he thinks he can ride a horse.
I don't know
we
about
might have one or two you can get on.
that.
You got to let him loose on the track, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's a little dangerous there.
That'll be the end of my
Maybe
career.
after a couple
Anyway.
riding lessons or something.
Yeah, for sure. We do appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys for
Panagiotis,
having me.
right? We got
Yep,
that right,
that was good.
Panagiotis.
That was good. I like that.
All right, thank you for coming,
like
and
that.
we wish you nothing but success, my man. We'll
Thank you guys
follow
so
you
much.
out,
I
and
really
again,
appreciate it.
when you put Shawn on that horse around the track, can you videotape that for us? We all get a good laugh.
Won't miss that for the world.
Yeah, we need a viral moment for sure. Thanks again, and have a good night.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Hey, take care. Have a good night.
You as
You
well.
too.
All right, see you. Bye-bye.
I can't wait to see you on the horse, Shawn.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy, and I'm going to need more popsicles to ice up.
You're going to need less popsicles, bro, if you're going to get on a horse and go around the track, not more.
Well, I'm going to need it to ice up afterwards.
Yes, indeed, for your knees, for your head, for your back, for everything. Thank you, Blake, for the popsicle. We appreciate that. All the people were sweltering hot, wishing that you could deliver one directly to them versus digitally through the screen, Shawn.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say some good news about a friend of the show who's been on the show a couple of times, Shawn. And, more upbeat, positive guy I don't think I've ever come across. I've said before many times, when this young man is done with horse racing, he has a career waiting for him as a public motivational speaker because my man David, every time you talk to him, you just feel better afterwards. So I feel good to see that he's going to be back to racing after being injured.
Yeah, absolutely. It took a little bit of time, but I mean, these guys are amazing, man. They get hurt. It seems like they'll be out for a while, and before you know it, you're reading that they're coming back. So it's a good thing. I did get in touch with him a little bit after, just texting, and he still sounded upbeat. I mean, that's another thing amazing about these guys. They can get injured, and they still sound as upbeat as, can be. They're always biting at the bit to get back.
Yeah, I mean, we talked to David over the phone, and you could hear him smiling over.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he is definitely he's one of the most. I mean, he's just infectiously makes other people around him happy, at least feel good, because that's kind of the feeling we've gotten from when David's been on the show. So I appreciate folks who are always upbeat, positive, and that vibe carries to other people, right? When you're around people like that. So we hope David has continued success, and looking forward to talking to him again.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully he starts right where he left off and starts winning again, and then we'll have him on the show again at some point because he always takes the call.
Yeah, he's a great guy for sure. So trainer Marvin Johnson and his veterinarian Loomis issued summary suspensions in Indiana, Shawn. Now there wasn't any, from what I read in the article, it looked like the veterinarian, and from what Mr. Johnson says, the veterinarian was the one responsible for administrating stuff on race day, to which he had no knowledge, according to the article, and that all this will be worked out. Do you think this is do you think it is a situation now where HISA is in place? There's essentially going to be a not zero risk, but a zero tolerance policy. You get caught with anything, it's going to be take action first, explain later.
That seems to be the case. Now, in this case, I don't know. I read a couple different things. Was HISA involved in this, or was this the track?
The track suspended him. But I'm just wondering if
the
tracks are going to be proactive now.
Yes.
Because if they're not as proactive as they probably should be, if there's something in the rules that say, if you caught a person, you didn't suspend them or take immediate action, then the penalty shifts perhaps from the offender to the people who are supposed to be enforcing. I don't know if that's the case, but normally you don't see like an occurrence on July the 4th, and then by July the 6th, you're out of here.
Yeah, and it's going to be, you'd have to prove your innocence. They're not going to prove that you're guilty, is basically how it's going to be.
And from what I read, it's 60-day suspension for his horses, no matter what. Even if they transfer them to another barn, they can't run for 60 days.
Oh.
So that's a big penalty right there.
Yeah,
so not only that, so now with the horses being suspended for 60 days, even if they're transferred to another barn, now that entire, the whole drop of rock in the water and the ripples break out, that ripple of anger now is going to go out to owners, right?
Mhm.
And when the owners are mad because their horses aren't running, that's going to have a cascading effect on the person's ability to get horses. But he says you're going to be able to explain it all, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the thing with these HISA rules, and even with the whip rule, is it's affecting the owners and trainers. They're taking money out of their pockets and everything else. So the rules are just so much more, and the punishments are as well. So,
well, I would hope in the beginning they're going to give everybody a grace period to get used to it, right? Like, okay, we got 13 days or 50 days or 30 days or whatever. So we'll issue you warnings when you did something wrong up front, but you're going to have a certain window to relearn the behavior, so to speak, so that on this day you'll have been warned 5 times, and then on this day forward it will go straight to whatever the written punishments might be.
Yeah, I was a little concerned because we had that conversation yesterday that HISA wasn't affecting too much. Then I'm reading this morning all about that, and I'm like, oh man, we jinxed it.
It was you and me, buddy. It's our fault. We're influencing the universe. I've been talking a little bit about that, the law of attraction on the shows, and maybe you and I are speaking things into the, I always tell you that, Shawn, right? Speak it into the universe, my man. And so maybe we spoke it into the universe. We're sorry, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah.
We'll take the heat. But I still want my money from Tyler. Tyler, where is my church? I know you said he's getting married. All right. So for those of you who are interested, like Terry and I, in trying to qualify for the National Handicapping Contest, I've come so close a couple times, just haven't been able to get over the hill. But there is another way you can do it. It's called Beat Bike. I don't know who that is, but do you know who this guy is?
Steve Bike. Yeah, he has his own show on like Sirius Radio and stuff.
Maybe we should have our show on Sirius Radio.
Yeah. And I've tried to reach out to him. I haven't been able to get in contact with him yet.
So, Mr. Bike, even though I don't know who you are, I apologize. If you're watching or somebody you know
that was a selling pitch, yes.
And you want to join us, please come on. Hey, that way I can get to know you, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know until you know.
Tony Black goes on the show a lot too. He's got a weekly segment and stuff. So,
well, maybe Tony can set us up with him. I would, I'm always happy to meet new people, Shawn. So anyway, with this contest, there's 16 opportunities to beat Steve Bike. He's going to make a pick. You can either take his pick or you can make your own pick against him. And I guess at the end, whoever beats him on a particular week gets to go into a contest at the end of it where the winner gets to represent at what's it called? At the races or something like that. And at the races with Steve. So it gets to represent them in the national handicapping competition. So if I were to win that one, Shawn, I'd have to get rid of the horse racing today stuff and wear the at the races stuff. I mean,
you don't want to do that.
How would I do that?
Yeah, you don't want to do that. This is one you do not want to win then.
I'm going to try. If I beat him, by golly, we got to go on his show at least, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, maybe we can go on his show. That would be just as fun to me. So you can catch all of that. I'll post a link to all of this, to the NHC Beat Steve Bike Challenge on the recap for the show, which you'll find over on horseracingtoday.net. You'll also find, while you're over there tonight, a new edition of Ask Charles. Charles answers questions every week. So if you have questions for Charles Trent, anything about horse racing whatsoever, he's been just about everything you can be in the business. You can find his email address and reach out to him at bigcasinoracing@gmail.com. This week he talks about his thoughts about HISA, how he would fix the sport, and his favorite type of horses to train. But he's covered a whole lot of other range of issues as well.
Yeah, he's answered about everything. And there's still, horse racing, the thing is there's still a lot of people that want to learn, and there's still tons of questions. So tons still to ask him, and he's not afraid to do his research and answer it. Yeah,
well, and to speak from experience, too, which I feel is good, if not better, than something you can find as you Google search.
Yeah, absolutely.
100% for sure. Tomorrow at noon, Terry and I will be back. We'll take our talents to Horseshoe, Indianapolis, where we'll get prepared for our guest tomorrow evening for the Players Edge podcast at 9:30 p.m. Shawn, who are we going to have on tomorrow?
We're going to have on Horseshoes Indianapolis' announcer, John G. Dooley.
John Dooley will be our announcer, and we'll be going over the Indiana Derby, the Indiana Oaks, and a third race with which I forget the name.
Yeah.
It's the last 3 races on Saturday's card, so you're going to want to make sure you check that out. Friday, Tom and I will be back at 1 o'clock Eastern for our Foreign Friday show. And then, of course, on Saturday, the new hit show with Eddie P. No, Chris P.
You combined them.
Chris P. and Eddie C. The Spot Plays will make its return at 9 a.m. Eastern. You're going to want to check that out. I know I got a little sneaky insight into something Chris is going to bring out. He's been putting his bubble charts on there. He's made a nice little adjustment to the chart, which I think might make it a little bit easier to understand, to use for your work. So you're going to want to catch that. I can tell you this too. We're working on a lot of stuff in the background that hopefully we'll be able to get going here in the next couple of months before the Breeders' Cup, at least is the game plan, where we'll have a lot of visualization things that will help people, I think, take you from the beginning of the race to the end of the race to help you build a picture of how the race is going to start, where the horses might be in the middle, the type of horses that can win this race, and if the horses are going to get a trip that fits their winning style. So that's what we're working on. We hope to be able to launch that soon.
Yeah, I mean,
a while.
Yeah, and we're working on a lot of stuff. You're going to be getting a little bit of time when every other week when Jamie's taking off, so you'll be able to work on some stuff there. And I can also tell you, Jamie is thrilled to do it, and she's scheduling guests in the background, and she's working every day. So everybody's working in the background too. And we do all this for free and because we love it. Right.
Well, we don't want to do it for free. So
no, we don't want to do it for
if
free.
anybody wants to sponsor us, okay. So I'm going to go off on a little bit of a rant here, Shawn. So forgive me.
You're welcome.
So, all right. So
not planned.
It's not planned at all. So we get approached by the likes of Bet Us, and I forget the one out of Australia. I forget the name of it. And mybookie.ag. I think it's out of Australia. I could be wrong. So we get approached by these folks, and they want us to, and we hold off, right? And you know this. And the reason we hold off is because we've seen, and other people who've used those, the bigger names in the business start to call them out. Oh, you're going with the scavengers who don't put their money in the pool and blah, 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 blah. Well, here we are, a young, aggressively growing show. We're about to hit about 10,000 views per month on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. Our website is growing. Our social media sites are growing. Everything's growing. But when we reach out to some of these people, what do we get, Shawn?
We get a quick no.
The back of the hand, baby. Right.
Yeah.
So,
and the other thing I'll say about that is, with the Horse Racing Radar, now we've worked at like a year and a half for free because we loved it. A lot of people would have gave up by now. So if you do put a little bit of money, and we're not going to ask for a ton, if you do put a little bit of money, you're going to get people that are going to work their butt off for you and are going to sell your product. And you'll make more money than you're putting in. I think
that, to me, I think, Shawn, it's not about, trying to sell to people who watch, right? Products will sell themselves. If it's good, people are going to buy it. If it's not good, they're not going to buy it. My mom used to tell me, if you spend $100 on something and you never use it, it's worthless. If you spend $1 on something and you use it every day, it's close to priceless, right? Mm-hmm. So, the value that they bring will be self-evident. I'm not worried about that. But what kills me is that this is a business where everybody talks about, we got to make it grow, we got to make it grow, we got to bring new people in. Our audience is not that old. It's not as old as I am, or it's more in your age group, which is the age group people want to appeal to, right? Mm-hmm. And because these are the newer fans or the younger fans that you can bring in. And so everyone talks about, we got to grow the business. We got to grow the business. We're going about to help them grow the business. And when we ask them, hey, what do you think about working with us? There's the back of the hand. Anyway, that wraps it up today, Shawn. Where's your tissues?
Yeah, they're not around here. I still got to figure out the slight situation too, which we'll figure out and get ready.
Yeah, because I'm waiting for you to bust into Phil Collins now. I can feel it. Come on.
You've gotten people to sing. I will not be one of them.
Well, you can do it. You look like Phil Collins right now in the Air of the Night video.
Next week's schedule is still up in the air a little bit, but Monday we will have Tyler Connor on. So he got a win today. They're still in action, so I don't know if he got another, but he is now 5 wins from career win 1,000.
Well, hopefully by the time he gets here, he'll be at 1,000 and we can have a big celebration. All right, Shawn, well, that wraps it up until Terry and I come back tomorrow at noon to go after some picks at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. And hopefully this afternoon you played our late pick fours because both Terry and I hit. And combined, they paid $488 for a buck, $244 for 50 cents each. So congratulations, Terry. Great job handicapping. It's always fun working with you. Looking forward to tomorrow morning. Until then, no matter what you're doing this hump day evening, whatever you're going to do tomorrow morning, and before you catch up with Terry and I, we hope that it ends up with a popsicle and
in the winner circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic evening. Thanks for joining us.